It's magic hands. Sorry for the clutter on the desk. I was going to tidy up before I switch the video on. If I just push it all to one side, it will be just like a teenager's bedroom without the crusty sheets. I was going to start with Louis. Louis, I came to put your stock on your gun, and I was overcome with a great illness that almost made me vomit. So, I'll leave this off for now. You can't have a stock on it unless you're running a remote line. If you cross my palm with silver, I'll put it back on for you. But that is not the subject of today's film. Poor old Craigie over the pond. We sent Craig a one of my black 1.0 cans, and the poor fella is having loads and loads and loads of hassle with it. And we're going to see if we can get it up and running for you. He hasn't sent me the gun, but what I want to point out is all these cans I make, nothing's actually changed here. What I'm doing with these cans is I'm either adding ports or changing the shape of the ports to a standard can. But the actual mechanical operation of the can never changes. So that there can't be a fault with a can, because at the end of the day a can has no moving parts. So it can never be at fault. However, we have into this equation, we have a flash guide as well, which of course its timing and porting is much bigger and much longer. Now, Craig, please send your gun over to me so I can set it up for you and show you that my parts are lovely. But what we've said to Craig is he can send that can back to me, and I'm going to send him a more stupefied version. That's stupefied as in standard, not stupefied as in, hey, you're a fucking idiot. I don't do that. And I never get upset with my punters. In about 5 years I may have been close to biting my lip at shows, but I'm dealing with 200 people a day and they want their guns done in 5 minutes and it's full of paint from last year, so you know. But one thing I really must show, and a common problem I see on a lot of players' Luxes, because they don't read their CDs, they don't look in the operator's handbook, they don't print it out, they don't do anything like that, is not the actual can itself. Now, the can has no moving parts, but what is far more technical is the actual part you're screwing the can into. And there's a couple of things I need you to get to check for me. I need you to check that this O-ring on the end of the flash guide you have is doing its job. If this O-ring is the wrong size or damaged, your gun will chuff. Next, on the actual rear latch can, this is the part that's on the back of your Lux, you know, you lift it up to pull the actual bolt out. There's an O-ring that seals this and the can into the gun. And don't get this O-ring mixed up with any of the O-rings that are actually on the can, because although it's the same size, it's a completely different type and a completely different material. And I have it here, and it's very, very hard. It's almost plastic-like. Now, if you go over my videos, I explain in all the videos what the various holes on the Lux do. These holes at the front, all these holes do is fill the fire can and prepare the chamber to receive air to propel the ball. If your gun is ever chuffing, it has nothing whatsoever to do with this area up here or these holes here. Okay? Now, if a gun is chuffing, it's normally a problem at this back side, right? Now these holes at the back, and remember I've done videos on this subject before, but you know, it's cool for us to have a refresher course. In fact, we have sweets in the UK called refreshers. They're very nice, one of my favourites actually. These holes at the back, these holes here are solely responsible for just blowing the bolt forward. Okay, so if your bolt is going forward and not making a full cycle, then the problem must be therefore in the back side here, because it's these holes at the back, these ports, that are only responsible for blowing your bolt forward. The holes in the middle, in this area here, can you see that all right? Should we switch to close up? Is that better? Yeah, that's better. Okay, now these holes here are only responsible for sending your bolt backwards. Okay, so these ports here blow your bolt forwards, these ports here blow your bolt backwards. Now, you can have the best O-rings in the world on your can and they're a solid fit, but they're only as good as the O-ring that has to go on here. Now, this is a very special O-ring. It's not the same as the O-rings that go on the can, although it's the same size, but it is a different hardness. This thing is like concrete. This has to resist a burst pressure of 212 psi, which is what a standard Lux will run at. Thereabouts, depending on how you have it set up. This white O-ring on this rear can, if this O-ring is wrong, and it won't work, especially if you've got your FT screw in, because the FT screw is a choke. What it does is it's strangling your gun, and the air that can't get out past the FT will look for other routes to get out and make your gun chuff. So when we're doing setups and testing, you must check and do all your testing with your FT out. Also, you need to know the size of your exhaust port. It's so important. I can't stress how important it is. Oh, I'm out of camera shot. I'm so rude. Hang on, I'm going to get an exhaust port so I can show you where that is. Right, okay. This is your solenoid manifold. Your exhaust port is found on the front here, where my little spiky thing is. Now, these vary wildly in size. I've had some as small as 0.40 millimeters, and I've had some as large as 1.3. Now, when I drill these exhaust ports, I actually drill them out to 1.3. Your standard FT size is like 2.5 mil. It's ideal to have your exhaust port at 1 mil. The average I see is half a mil. Now, what you have to understand is, when your gun is exhausting from these front ports, all your air runs back through the solenoid and out through that exhaust port. So if you've got way too much lube in your gun, which most players do, or you've got a dirty gun, there's grit in it, all that comes back through the solenoid and out through this tiny, tiny little hole. Any debris in here, paint shell or anything like that, will block it. So you need to check. There's a million ways to check. You could just take an Allen key, if you know the size of the Allen key, and you could just drop it into the hole, couldn't you? And then you would use like a pair of verniers to tell you how big that Allen key is. That would give you an excellent idea of what size the hole is. You can't really get a pair of verniers in there, unfortunately, but this is just tippers. But you must check this O-ring on this back can, because nobody ever checks it. I'm going to send you this one to replace the one that's on your gun, because by the sound of things you haven't got the right one on there. But hey, who knows? So I'm going to get this out in the post for you, Craigie, and I'm going to include this O-ring in it with a little note as to where it goes. And we'll see what we can do for you. But like I say, I've sold probably have 500 of these cans out in circulation, and I've never had a faulty can because there's no moving parts. Alright, so your problem's going to be elsewhere. And you can send me your gun and I'll set it up for you free of charge. Anyway, got to go because I'm running out of time. I'll see you soon, buds. Ta-da. Bye-bye.